Hey everyone, I hope everyone's having a great start to their week. So yeah, I was gonna pull some cards, but I have written down some notes, and if I get to pulling cards, I will. But yeah, I had already been tapping into the collective energies for this week, and feel like Spirit had and my ancestors had been already pointing some themes out to me that I'm gonna share. So yeah, I hope that these are helpful and bring some affirming and guidance and support through this week, because the energies have been pretty hectic. Like, I feel like for everyone, people are moving through a lot of big waves of healing. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, but this is something to check if you're into astrology, is that like Pisces, that Neptune, Jupiter, Pisces conjunct thing that was going on. I think it's still happening, and I'm kind of feeling those energies. So that is themes for that is pretty much like expansion, going back into what we're imagining for ourselves and desiring for ourselves, and really having a play with our inner child. Yeah, and I think with those energies, definitely connecting to the water element. So that would be connecting to our emotions and our intuition this week. And I even feel like past this week, maybe even for the next few weeks still, it's really important for us to connect with our inner child and ask ourselves what our inner child wants to do today, or how our inner child wants to create, and working with our inner child in terms of the Taurus season energy that we're in. So Taurus resonates with the home, security, stability, our structure, also connects to the heart and the senses within that as well. So food, cooking, making things with our hands, or doing things that are creating something that is tangible, or something that is igniting or activating our senses. So some things that smell good. I'm thinking, I don't know, like flowers or even art. Those kinds of things is what Spirit, I feel like, is calling us to tap into, in alignment with our inner child, and really bringing out our imagination. So this could be within our creativity and our work as well, or just play, and really tapping into that energy, and even looking at how we can do that together within community, or really get creative within our gifts and our talents and our capabilities and our skills, and the things that bring structure to our lives as well. How can we bring more refreshing, lighter energies into our home, and fresh energies into our home, and cleansing and coolness and calmness and peace, because there's a lot of heat and tension, things being torn and left behind, lots of karmic contracts being broken, or past life situations, if you believe in that, or just past things that have been repeating themselves. There's a lot going on, and so I think Source is really calling us to balance the earth element and water at this time. What else have I written? Yeah, water ritual, divination, communication. So if you're into your divination as well, this week is a really great time to connect and commune and conversate with Source and our ancestors. There are some like really strong energies about, but I do feel like it's important to be careful. So I think that's also why there's a lot of this lighter energy that Source is wanting to bring out when it comes to the element of water, because when we're going quite deep, I'm also thinking in the shade of colors. So if anyone resonates with that, so maybe lighter blues like the scarf that I'm wearing, or and balancing that out with the darker blues. So if you are looking at those two colors and what those two colors or tones make you feel, intuitively, that's kind of what Source is calling us to balance out. That might not resonate for everyone, but feel like it will for some. But yeah, just really balancing our light and our shadows. So a lot of us have been feeling heavy as well, I think, and going through lots of big shifts. There could be lots of grief or ancestral healing at this time. And so Source is wanting us to remember our playfulness. What can you do in your day to lighten up your mood, your energy? There could be even dancing or connecting to children, or doing something, that connects you to your inner child and your imagination as well, within your creativity. It's important for some of us to be doing protection ceremony as well, like regular protection ceremony. Again, with that would just be like candle work or spell work and rituals. So yeah. And seeing the color white for that if you're doing that as well, to protect your ancestors. So ancestral veneration and really giving your ancestors offering at this time is really important. If this is something that you haven't done before, a great way to start is getting like some white fabric and or setting up a space in your house or your space where you can light a candle or have a glass of water there for them, which represents cleansing and the communication as well. And what else? Anything else that is significant to you when it comes to your ancestors or family or even culture. And that can just be also a place where you sit and you contemplate or connect or ask questions or journal or meditate. It doesn't really matter, just whatever comes natural to you. That's a really great place to start, just in case that was needed. But yeah, I'm seeing lots of communication opening up. And I feel like it's a really beautiful time just to really listen and absorb and be still. And I think Source is also calling some of us into hibernation. May also have to do with the weather, depending on where you are in the world. But yeah, I feel like Source is really calling us into sit in resonance with ourselves and our higher selves, and communicate with self what we really want, and come back to like some of the things we have been reflecting on earlier in the year. It seems like it's still also easy for us to get caught up in illusion or even deceit as well. So make sure that you are staying grounded, and that's why the Taurus energy is great, because it's calling us to do things in the physical realm to really connect. And so that is really encouraged to balance out the light and the shadow. And something else I wrote here was Source, I guess, really calling us going deeper or going into that, the topic of water, a little bit more into that fluidity. And I feel like I know there are some queer folk that watch this platform or will watch this, and or trans and non-binary folk in particular. And I feel like Source had messages for us as well, and these are for everyone as also. You don't have to identify or be trans or non-binary, because we're all fluid. But I feel like Source was really calling us at this time to step into our fluidity creatively, and that there's something really special that queer folk, trans folk, non-binary folk hold when it comes to storytelling and expressing what is coming through within our beings into our art and into our creativity. So that's really encouraged, and I feel like, I do feel like that was like a special message for queer whānau, but obviously anyone can resonate with that because we're all fluid. And I feel like, on a wider scope, we are really being asked to step into that fluidity and express ourselves in ways that we haven't before, and to not be afraid of doing this as well. there were other messages that were coming through, I guess more to do with the shadow side of what we could potentially be dealing with or moving through or seeing around us or needing to release and transmute. Source was talking to me about ego and calling it ego resonance. So some of us may be resonating with people like ego to ego, and ego isn't a negative thing. I think we need our ego to move through life because it actually is that instinctual part of our identity that we have created, and that's also how we kind of come back to our bearing of who we are sometimes. So ego isn't a negative thing. I think it's a very necessary thing for survival as well, and just remembering who we are in that kind of way. But I felt like Source was saying, especially through social media, that a lot of us or some of us can get caught up in resonating with others through the ego in terms of, and not actually resonating spirit to spirit or heart to heart. And because of this day and age, I'm really thinking like Aquarius energy, because of this day and age, it's really easy for us to do that or fall into that pattern even without realizing it. So I felt like the message this week was to really challenge ourselves to connect heart to heart rather than based off of what someone might look like or seem like to you, even just assumptions or what your ego is wanting them to be. I feel like there are a lot of projections that come through that kind of energy, and that's really us going into the structures, the Taurus energy going into the structures or foundations we're even building within our connections, especially our connection to self, but our connections with other people, because those, when we're building foundations through ego to ego, it's not sustainable connection. And I feel like Source is saying that's something that we need to be careful of, not only in social media, but just day to day and connecting with people. How are we actually building the foundation of our connections? Is it through ego or is it through spirit to spirit, heart to heart? Because there needs to be more of a balance of that. Like, it's not bad for us or negative for us to connect through ego, but we do, or to mirror each other's egos, but it's important for us to have the other stuff as well. So I guess that Source had been showing me that was through mindfulness and just being mindfulness and accountable to ourselves and I guess each other in certain ways. So I guess that's all I had written down. I think I will pull the Dinka symbol. Some of us are going through a really deep ancestral cleansing as well, or like a generational cleansing, which can also be really uncomfortable on the physical body, or there might also be tension and tightness within the physical body as well. So if anyone's feeling that, just remember to stretch, move, release, communicate, stay flowing. I think that's why that water element is important. Oh, and ritual using the water element can just be like taking a bath or going to have a swim. Okay. So what guidance do you have for us, the collective, this week? Source Spirit, what guidance do you have? Cool, we have I'm not carrying your basket, a symbol of self-reliance and economic self-determination. This is real cool because the energies that I had been feeling this week were real cosmic energies, again going to that Pisces Neptune kind of vibe. or going into going into the cosmos and connecting with our ancestors and the star systems. I guess in Aotearoa, Matariki is coming up as well. So I feel like whenever that is happening, there's just a massive slow wave that is pulling us into that season, which is the Indigenous or Māori New Year here as well. So I feel like there's a real opening and potential to connect. And this Adinkra reminds me of the star as well, as in how it sustains itself. And it's important for us to really connect to that and to remember that we sustain ourselves. And how do we sustain ourselves? What do we need to nourish ourselves with to sustain ourselves and to sustain our connection to the divine, the higher frequencies, and our ancestors, and also just like a higher peace of mind and stillness and being in a space of peace and calm and coolness and really drawing in wealth and abundance, as well as grounding and protection. What's at the base of the deck? This Adrinka symbol has been coming up heaps this week, not only for me but for other people's like personal readings. The fern, named after the fern, a hardy plant which is known to grow under difficult climatic conditions. So yeah, I love this one because it talks on we see the root and that grounding and connection to earth and as being a part of nature, and then growing through these different things and growing towards the light, growing towards source, healing, evolving, expanding within ourselves, within our creativity, and continuing to open our hearts up to new, fresh ways of being and new waves of peace. It's giving me a lightness and abundance within that, and stillness within that, and also learning patience. And so some of us might need to tap into that energy a little bit more, learning to be patient with our own growth and the different things that are coming up, because that is a part of being a part of nature as well. The shedding and the different layers and things that we are moving through. And I also feel like there's like big reminders that some of the things that we are moving through are beyond us and bigger than us. And so if something feels really heavy and we're unsure of why it feels like that, just really taking a step back and talking to spirit or even talking to a friend to gain different perspective on the narratives that we are telling ourselves or the things that we are moving through, because sometimes we're really releasing a lot of things that have been repeated generationally. But I feel like sources, I guess, calling us to really learn how to rely on ourselves and to continue to allow ourselves to be seen within everything that we are imagining and desiring, and really bring that forth out of ourselves and out of our heart space as well. So yeah, I think I will leave it there with those two. Sending you all so much love. This does seem like it can be a tough time, so I really encourage everyone to lean on and like fall into the support and nourishment that can come from loved ones, and also just the earth. And I will talk to you all soon.